It's a truly eerie experience, because you can find the permanent location for any 3,200 character text. You can find in this library the description of your birth, every possible description of your death, every poem, every joke, every lie, anything that could be said can be found on this site. This thing blurs the line between invention and discovery. Did you really discover or invent that thing if its description already existed? 10 to the 5,000 different pages are offered by the Library of Babel. In comparison, there are only 10 to the 80 atoms in the observable universe. I searched for what I've just said, and sure enough, in this hexagon, on this wall, this shelf, in this volume, on this page, it's there. Hello. But deep down, we feel like there's a difference between... William Safire was asked to prepare a speech for President Nixon to read on television to the world if Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong became stranded on the moon. 30 years later, William Safire explained that Aldrin and Armstrong were supposed to reunite with the command module orbiting the moon.
But if they couldn't, and it was a good risk that they couldn't, then they would have to be abandoned on the moon, left to die there. And mission control would then have to use their euphemism, close down communication. And the men would have to either starve to death or commit suicide. And so we prepared for that with a speech that I wrote. And the president was ready to give that.
Luckily, Nixon never had to deliver the moon disaster speech, but to read it today, thinking of those two guys still alive on the surface of the moon, knowing that they will never get back to Earth, is chilling. Included in that speech were these lines: "Fate has ordained that the men who went to the moon to explore in peace will stay on the moon to rest in peace. These brave men, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin, know that there is no hope for their recovery, but they also know that there is hope for mankind in their sacrifice." In ancient days, men looked at the stars and saw their heroes in the constellations. In modern times, we do much the same, but our heroes are epic men of flesh and blood. For every human being who looks up at the moon in the nights to come will know that there is some corner. Now, roughly visualized, here is a conventional TNT explosion. Now, on the same spot, a similarly sized bomb that uses nuclear fission. When Little Boy was detonated over Hiroshima, only 1.38% of its uranium actually fissioned. The rest was blown away before that could happen, which means, as Eric Schlosser points out, the fission of merely 0.7 grams of uranium, that's less than the weight of a banknote, was enough to kill 80,000 people and destroy 2/3 of a city's buildings. When a country has tens of thousands of nuclear weapons ready to go, accidents are a possibility. This was a problem during the Hey, VSauce! Michael here. This picture is about a year and a half old, but the pyramids themselves are much older than that. How much older? Well, think of it this way. The pyramids of Giza were as old to the ancient Romans as the ancient Romans are to us. When the pyramids were being built, there were woolly mammoths living on Wrangel Island. That's pretty old, but don't get too impressed. We often learn about the past in units, separate chapters. To put that in perspective, let's time travel, starting right now. We begin 100,000 years ago, the beginning of modern humans. We are moving forward in time an entire millennia, 1,000 years every second. As you can see, not much is changing. Our modern world will briefly flash at the end. That's all it is. That's all it's been. So be careful not to miss it. And as always, thanks for watching. Take a look at this 700-year-old prayer book. A monk wrote it on fresh, clean paper. I'm kidding, of course. He scraped the ink off an older manuscript, cut the pages, and rotated them before writing all over them. A mistake? Well, kind of. Recent multispectral images of the prayer book have revealed that the old manuscript he erased was a previously unknown copy of a work by Archimedes. It was called The Method and laid out the heart of calculus thousands of years before Newton and Leibniz. If that one monk hadn't erased that one book, would we be hundreds, thousands of years mathematically and technologically more advanced today than we currently are? It's hard to say. When you look at beautiful autumn colors, you are looking at stress. But the bigger the fight the trees put up, the more energy they put into their defenses at the very end, the more brilliant their colors will be. Winter will eventually come, but scientifically, the brightest, deepest, most remarkable colors come from not giving up too easily or quickly. And as always, thanks for watching.
Back